What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Beyond the Grave Media. This is Josh here, checking in on you out there in YouTube land. And how the hell are you? I've missed you. Are you happy, mad, sad, glad, pissed, indifferent? Which number of the seven dwarfs are you? I don't care. This is the place to be. I'm happy that you found me here. Tonight we're talking about my favorite Stephen King short story of all time. And that's a giant task. You can't see him anymore. I don't have all the Stephen King books because there's a ton of them. I probably... I'm a little out of it today. I apologize. I probably had 60 or 70 Stephen King books. Have in my collection. So tonight we're breaking down 1408, the movie, the book, whatever you want to do. I'm happy that you're here. Let's get into it. 1408 revolves around a skeptical author named Mike Enslin, who writes about haunted locations. When he checks into the infamous room 1408 at the Dolphin Hotel, he's prepared for disappointment. But as the night progresses, he finds himself trapped in a nightmarish experience that defies all logic and sanity. 1408 is a masterclass in psychological horror. For many reasons, Mike Enslin is skeptical about the supernatural. His disbelief sets him up for a psychological unraveling. The room's ability to manipulate his perceptions and fears, it challenges his sanity, it makes the terror feel deeply personal and introspective, compounding with the small, confined space where realities and boundaries, nightmares become blurred. The claustrophobia intensifies the fear. Mike is trapped in a space where he can't escape the escalating horrors. The room itself becomes an entity that preys on his fears, amplifying his sense of entrapment and helplessness. It also starts to unravel his reality. Mike starts to wonder about the room's ability to distort time, space. The reality plays tricks on his mind. This unreliability creates a sense of disorientation, dread. As the protagonist, and by extension, us the viewer, the reader, we can't help but trust what's actually real anymore. 1408 also has this ability to exploit Mike's personal fears and regrets. It delves into his past traumas, insecurities, making the horror feel deeply personal. By tapping into Mike's own psychological vulnerabilities, the story becomes relatable and frightening. Readers and viewers can connect with this inner turmoil that's happening to Mike. Imagine Mike is alone in the room, cut off from the outside world. The isolation heightens the horror as he's left to face the room's malevolence without any external help or support. The sense of being alone in a hostile environment amplifies the terror, underscores the helplessness of his situation. "1408, the short story, is perfect. It's incredible. It's my favorite short story. It's from Everything's Eventual. And I'm honestly going to say this, that I wish that the movie didn't exist. I wish that it didn't exist because it takes away from the short story itself. I've told so many people that they need to read this story. It gives me goose flesh, goose pimples, whatever. It makes the hair stand up on the back of my neck. The story is so good. I remember exactly where I was. I was living in Olympia, Washington, managing this place called Cigarettes Cheaper. I sold cigarettes all day. I don't even remember if I smoked. I was the manager of this place. And I had an hour lunch break. I went through Taco Bell, got a grilled stuffed burrito. Must have been 2003, 2004, because it still existed. And I bought this book, Everything's Eventual, from Goodwill, started reading. And in the chapter index, I seen 1408. I'm like, man, that equals 13. Am I good at math? Not really. Just kidding. But there's a prologue before the story starts, and Stephen King's talking about how hotels are dangerous, creepy places where who knows how many people have sat on that bed, slept there, like we're losing their minds, right? We're having the worst day of their lives. We always think about good things on vacation, but this is the dark side of what a room can take on, what kind of entity can live inside of a room based on just the people that stay in it. Fascinating, dude. I was hooked. I read this story on my hour lunch break. I went home and I finished it because I think it's like 40 pages. I don't think I was able to read the whole thing, but I was obsessed with this story. I couldn't believe it. It was so awesome. And then, cut to a couple of years later, and I think it's 2007, and I see this trailer, and I want to say it was on, was it on the Trick or Treat DVD maybe? And I was like, holy crap, they're making a movie out of my favorite short story. Why are they doing that? And then, you see that it's got John Cusack and Sam Jackson. You're like, pretty solid cast. I hope they take it seriously. Like, I love this book. And I'm going to say that I like this movie. I watch it a couple times a year, so maybe I like it more. But I love 100x that short story. In fact, I listened to it today to prepare for this episode. I'll show you. It's on Spotify, right? And you can just go, if you have Spotify Premium, which I hope everybody does because it's totally worth it. and you can just literally grab the episode. It's chapter 12. It's an hour and 33 minutes, I think, and it's Stephen King reading his own short story. It's on Spotify. Check that out. If you don't have a lot of time, an hour and 30 minutes is kind of short for a short story. Put it on 1.5x, right? Speed it up a little bit. It's incredible to hear Stephen read it. It's so good. So when the movie came out, I was the first in line to go watch it. I went to the cinemas and brought some friends, right? And I was glued to my seat. It was so intense. I thought it was really good. And it's still pretty good, but I feel like it deviates from the book, obviously, because it has to. I feel like it just loses a little bit of its luster over the years, like having like the daughter involved and like the weird winter storm and the changing of the seasons. All that stuff's Hollywood, and you gotta have that. The breakup, right? None of that stuff's in the book. The book is just Mike Enslin going into this room and not believing that it's gonna be haunted. He has this crazy conversation with the hotel manager, and they have this sit down, and it's probably like 10 pages of the book. It's just this guy pleading him to please not go into this room. And Sam Jackson and they do a great job. I'm ranting right now. I've been going for 3 minutes. God, man, I'm telling you. 1408, I guess I do love it, okay? I love it. But it's not even close to as good as the book, and the book is so close to my heart, you guys. I love it so much. So I think that for the most part, this movie creeps my wife out. It creeps a lot of people out. There's a lot of mental illness, a lot of self-harm, a lot of like people doing really bad things in this room, but it's the room itself that's the ghost, and I think that Hollywood did a pretty good job capturing it. I do feel like it's a little bit cheesy the more times I've watched it, but it's still pretty effective. Let's end this rant. Let's move on to something else, dude. Look, man, I think the legacy of 1408, the reason we're even talking about it is because of the masterful writing. Stephen King is the best, and he proves it. He pretty much writes an entire screenplay for this movie. If the movie didn't have this book, it would suck. It's so good. The only issues that I really have with the movie compared to the book and the legacy moving forward is you got these A-list Hollywood actors. Maybe Cusack isn't A-list, but I love him. I think that him and Sam Jackson, they knock it out of the park. They do a great job. The look of the hotel is pretty damn close to what I think of when I think of the book, but I have this image of what the room was going to look like, and Hollywood, I mean, my imagination is way better, right? But that's not the movie's fault. For the most part, it does a pretty good job. In the book, we're talking about fruit rotting, we're talking about sunsets, we're talking about looking at the door and it's off-centered, we're talking about the pictures being off-centered and he can't seem to get them straight. Just looking at them makes him want to throw up, like how he's got seasickness or something. He's seeing photos in the actual pictures themselves of like a woman's breast bleeding, like people, it's horrible. When I was 11, my brother died by wolves on the New England Turnpike, or the North Connecticut, whatever. The book is incredible. Hollywood does a pretty good job of getting the room right for the most part. I think that the dialogue between Sam and John in the beginning, Olin and Mike Enslin, is pretty damn incredible. I think that's a great scene. I think when he's begging him with the scotch and he's like, please don't go in to that mother effing room, right? I only go in there if it's that time of the month. Great stuff. There's a lot of good stuff to love about this movie. The legacy's in good shape because of the short story. That's not this movie's fault. If I'm gonna recommend this movie, I told you I was out of it. I'm gonna say this is a movie that you should watch. I love the movie. Damn it, I guess I do. Because I love the short story. I mean, I own it, right? I haven't upgraded to Blu-ray. I don't even know if it exists, but if it came out on 4K, I would snap it up like that. I watch it all the time. I watch it every October. I guess I do love it. I love the book so much more, so. All right. We came to a conclusion. I wasn't even going to make this video, but I just put up that poll and someone was telling me how much they love 1408, and I was just inspired by that and my love of the book. Like, I went through and listened to the entire thing today at work, like on my way home, and then while I was getting ready to end work, so. 1408, you should definitely watch it. The legacy's great. I took like 2 pages of notes that I wanted to talk about between like the emotional impact, the open-ended nature. What I love about this movie and the book is Mike can't get out of this room. He has to set himself on fire. It's his last hope. He's in there and he's dealing with all these ghosts and weird things on the telephone. 9, this is 9. All your friends are like, it's freaking out, man. He can't handle it. And so eventually, like, everything's turning on him and he feels like he's going to hurt himself. I think he's going to rip this thing off the wall and jump out the window or something. And he decides to grab this book of matches that says close cover before striking, and he strikes the whole thing, lights himself on fire. The only way he gets out of it is a room next door. The dude like hears him screaming, and in the book it talks about on the tape how the tenant next door could hear his voice going up in octaves, but nothing changed about his yell. It was like it just kept getting louder, like he was being turned up, but the tone was the exact. Creepy, dude. Creepy. And that dude like was trying to put him out, but he feels like maybe like you could hear the room squishing underneath him. The room is this entity in the book. It's alive. Like it wants him. It's feeding off of him. Freaks me out, man. I got goosebumps on my legs right now thinking about the short story and like the shag carpet and the color orange and how this movie ends, and it's kind of sunshine and rainbows, sort of. It's left a little open-ended. In the book, it talks about poor Mike Enslin. His days are not quite the same as they used to be. He can't help but like take long walks. Sure, he's got back pain. He doesn't write any more horror stories. He's freaked out. I got goosebumps thinking about it. It's talking about the end of this guy's life and how he has to like, he can't look at certain colors. He has to sleep with the light on because the dreams that he has are so intense that he has to wake up and know where he's at. Like certain colors, things make him nauseous. Like he can't even look like a, oh dude, the book is so good. I don't have I shave my head, but my hair and my head's standing up. I just listened to it today, and hearing Stephen King narrate it, go out and listen to that. You guys, 14 Awaits the business. You guys are so awesome. Until next time, if you want to hear more crazy ramblings from me, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on social media. Until next time, got some long form stuff coming. It's the weekend. During the week, I'm going to check in with you like every other day because I want to like work on some stuff and edit a little bit more. But on the weekend, I'm going to go full bore the best that I can. Until next time, take care of yourselves. I'm proud of you. Cheers.